What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of the Daily Five. I'm your host, Mike Deasy, sharing with you 5 happenings in world politics and world situations. Let's begin. First up is coolest monkey. Pictured in the ad, which will be posted on Video Network's Facebook page so that all of you understand what I'm talking about. We have a little black boy in a hoodie that has a degrading word or degrading slogan on it that says, "Coolest monkey in the jungle." How did the boy get photographed? Where were the boy's parents when this photo was shot? As for the little white boy, whose hoodie his hoodie says that he's a jungle survivalist. The statement does not match the mind of white men who are of the mind of exploiting African or black culture. The mental image that comes to mind with the slogan jungle survivalist brings to mind a white or European looking male whose outfit, being that of a safari guide, is going through a jungle and being led by an African tribesman who is wearing traditional tribal garments, whom the white man mentally sees as beneath the worth of a white man, simply because the African brother, his tribal attire is different from that of the white man. Again, this idea is not to say all white men think this way, because that's not an accurate statement. It's to suggest the words are meant to say, the words I'm speaking are meant to say that they're directed at those white men with that thinking, not all, because not all white men think that way. So let's get that negative thinking out the way, that there's an idea that all white men think this way. Not accurate. Some, not all. Getting back to the article. Yes, blacks are angry, but having the mentally insane Donald Hitler sitting in Hillary Clinton's seat should tell blacks something about the mind of the leadership at H&M who put out the ad. To black people, particularly from America, you should not be that surprised by this latest insult to black culture. The world of commercial products has done this before to blacks, and years before. A few months back, the skin cream company Nivea put out an ad that was meant to imply that their product keeps skin intact. Yet the person in charge of marketing thought it was a good idea to put a visual ad out of a black woman gradually becoming white-skinned. While H&M as a company may not have thought out their marketing strategy of their product well, the more important issue is yet left silent. Where are the parents? The more important issue with the H&M situation, that question is left silent. Where are the parents of the little black boy wearing the offensive hoodie, and why did they not demand that the photo be destroyed? Number 2, fire and fury. Before I go and get into this, I need to address the reality that, in case you don't know by now, I'm a headbanger. I'm not a politics person. I'm generally aware of what's going on in politics and how it affects my personal life, and certainly my company, Video Network, or the company I co-run, Video Network. But I am by no means a political analyst. With that said, Fire and Fury, the book that is the talk of the nation right now due to its subject, that being Donald Hitler, or you know him by his right name, I refuse to speak that name. The book does shed a little light on a few of the things that Donald has done that have not been spoken about in the media, knowledge of which we in the grassroots community have known since Donald first started talking about stealing the Oval Office from Hillary. Excuse me. I have only begun the book, and from the little I've read thus far, Fire and Fury is well worth checking out. Excuse me. Just make sure to call your local bookstore and buy it over the phone to ensure you have your copy. If you have a local independent store, we at Video Network strongly encourage you to go to your local independent store instead of the chain store that seems to be all over the country. Video Network is independent, and being that we're independent, we support all things independent. So go to an independent first to get Fire and Fury. Number 3, Donald versus Oprah. Donald thinks he can beat Oprah. Okay. Don't make me laugh. Yes, I laugh, but please don't make me laugh. Oprah versus Donald. Okay, if this were a WWE title match, it wouldn't be a match. It would be a slaughter. Donald really thinks he got it like that. Nah, man, you don't. Like it was said in yesterday's show, you have Oprah as president-elect, and Hillary as vice president-elect. Oprah would start off the match fine. She'd wear a few extra padding, being that she's female, to protect her body from the blows that Donald would try to throw. And during the course of the match, Donald would start cheating, which would prompt Hillary to run down to ringside, and they'd skip her music. She'd just straight run, make a beeline for the ring. Hillary wouldn't interfere, but she would make her presence known. Donald wouldn't be able to focus on fighting because Hillary was simply present. Donald would knock out the ref with the bell and try to have one of his people make the 3 count. Hillary would put a stop to that, and as Hillary is dealing with Hitler's people, Michelle would make a beeline for the ring, wearing the ref's uniform, to jump into the ring to make the 1, 2, 3 to ensure Oprah's victory. That's how it would happen again if this was a WWE match. But coming back to reality. No, Donald, you wouldn't win. Hillary wouldn't let you win. Besides, the American people wouldn't stand for it. There are more people across racial, religious, and orientation lines that hate you that badly. Donald, you are extremely a very unloved person outside of, and possibly even inside of, your family. Having said that, Video Network has already started addressing Miss Oprah, again, as was stated in yesterday's show, as Madam President Oprah Winfrey. Our slogan, yes we can, yes we will, again. And again, from Mike Deasy to Oprah, Madam President. Number 4. Still on Madam President, but slightly different note. Black America's ideas of Madam President. Within the world of social media, there seems to be a few people that do not like the idea of Oprah Winfrey being Madam President. Those who are against the idea of Ms. Winfrey sitting in the Oval Office feel that Oprah should not solve the issues that white men have created. Well, in a sense, Oprah, Madam President, would not be doing this. If we all look at Oprah Winfrey's record, it's clear that Miss Winfrey does not believe in letting anyone get a free ride or get away with creating problems and not solving them on their own. Excuse me. Miss Winfrey is known for not forcing people to solve the problems that they have created. What Madam President would likely do is make all white men in power own, no pun intended, own what they have done and tell Miss Oprah how those guilty white men intend to fix the problems that those white men have created. To say that the United States does not deserve Oprah is partly to say black people who want to live in America, or the black people who live in America, you don't want your problems solved. That's what you're partly saying by saying, when you're saying that America does not deserve Oprah as president, you're truly, partially saying you are aware of the problems that select white men have made for you as a black person living in America, and you would rather deal with those white men and their refusal to fix problems than have Miss Oprah in the Oval Office truly fixing problems. Okay. You're interesting. We all know that white men in government right now can't fix the problem because they are the problem. There's a reason Barack is so hated. He fixed white men's issues. Strangely, white men got angry with Barack for fixing their issues. To this day, even Donald blames Barack for the current problems the United States suffers from, and many of the economic problems Hitler accuses Barack Obama of having existed long before Barack took office. It was these same problems Barack spent 8 years trying to fix, but somehow, some way, like Donald, these select white men seem to have amnesia. They have amnesia about these issues, thinking that somehow Barack created these problems, which does not make any sense. But anyway, it's like these select white men attacked their doctor for properly diagnosing their illness and giving them a prescription that actually works. Okay. So, select white men, here's what you're saying. You not only know you are mentally and as well as physically ill, but you do and don't want a doctor to help you. You know that's called being crazy, right? Just making sure you understand that that's called being crazy. Those who do not want Oprah to be Madam President, please re-watch the 8th of January 2018's edition of the Daily Five. To the select white men who think they are sane, go talk to your friend Donald. I'm sure he'd love to chat with you about your interesting ideas. Number 5, on the same thing. Donald didn't want the Oval Office. Interesting, yet not. Shortly after it was announced that Donald Hitler had somehow won the 2016 presidential election, Donald found himself waiting to hear from Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch, a man that has always seen Donald Hitler as a con man. Even during the campaign for the presidency, Donald was showing signs that he had no idea what he was doing. Yet rich men, and rich white men in particular, wanted Donald to be president. Didn't matter that Hillary had more political history than Donald. These men wanted Hitler in the Oval Office because the silent reality was, and is, these very rich white men are the true misogynists. These rich men hate hated and hate their mothers so bad that they would rather have a politically, mentally challenged person making the presidency into a live-action reality show than deal with a woman who, while she has a few bruises on her record, has proven she knows how to run the United States. These men prefer the politically, mentally challenged, constantly questionable personage of Donald Hitler over the politically wise Hillary Clinton. For Donald to take advice from Alice, a guy known for his ties to Richard Nixon, George H.W. Bush, for Donald to listen to Alice says a lot about how Donald thinks. Rather than choose John Boehner, or Boner, however the hell he pronounces his name, a guy that knew politics more than the politically, mentally challenged Donald, Hitler chooses Jared Kushner, his son-in-law. A clear sign that Hitler saw the campaign as a serious publicity stunt. At no time before Donald was announced the winner did Donald take the campaign seriously. The campaign was truly all a huge joke that became a living nightmare for him, which, again, all of us in the conscious community already knew from the beginning. Through all that has taken place up until the first week of his being in the Oval Office, many white men and select white women fully support Donald, not supported, but fully support Donald. For women, they disregarded the reality that Donald is an alleged and more than likely a true sexual harasser of women, just not of public knowledge, but privately know that he habitually harasses women, among possibly other things. Possibly because we don't know for fact. But we have a very good idea that it's fact. An issue that is supposed to be important to women, they do not seem to care about, that being sexual harassment with regard to Donald Hitler. Disregarding the reality that Donald would not release his taxes for men is they chose to disregard the reality that Donald would not release his taxes, even though select white men are junkies when it comes to attacking so-called minorities about paying their taxes. Very interesting. Remember how I was just saying a few articles ago that you both want help and don't want help at the same time, and yeah, there's a problem going on in the brain. It just is. Anyway, as always, click the red button for subscribe. Like it if you like it. Comment down below. Or that. With that said, later.